were dealing with 10 patients yesterday. Now that is down to 9. Yesterday, we know there were 7 people in critical condition. Now there is just 1 child in critical condition. So there's still definitely that call for prayers from members of the community. But we're also learning about the ripple effects that this shooting has been happening and the heroism that has been on display, not just for the students and teachers in that church, but for law enforcement and the medical community. I want you to listen to what we heard from one EMS operator at the hospital dealing with that influx of patients.
There's a lot of maybe unrecognized heroes in this event, along with the children that were protecting other children, which is really amazing to hear about. I might be saying too much, but we had one kid that covered up another kid and took a shotgun blast to his back and things like that, and they were helping each other out. So the teachers were amazing. The teachers were, getting shot at. They were protecting the kids.
That was the EMS chief there. We also heard from a surgeon talking about how as one child was heading in to get a CT scan, she was scared there was no one around. There was a medical professional that actually held her hand as she was getting that scan. That's not standard protocol. While she did put a lead vest, she did put herself at some risk there. But you're hearing account after account of the acts of heroism at many different sites around the city.
And Schl, I want to keep those victims and families in our hearts, but I also do want to ask about authorities revealing more information about the shooter. What have we learned?
Yeah, and I actually just finished a one-on-one interview with the chief. I think one big thing, the question we always ask is, what is the motive? What are they learning about the motive? And the chief essentially saying they don't know that they're going to be able to find a motive, calling it frustrating for the community. We know and we've seen online there have been writings that the suspect has left behind, writings idolizing mass shootings and specifically school shootings using rhetoric that was both anti-Semitic and racist. The chief saying essentially that there was a wide variety of hate expressed by the shooter in this shooting, but there is no clear reason why this shooter attacked young children sitting in a church on the first week of school.
Shaquille Brewster for us. Schl, thank you so much.
Now to that stunning shakeup at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The agency's director, Dr. Susan Mineapolise, is fighting her termination after the White House fired her late Wednesday. President Trump actually picked Mineapolise to leave the agency earlier this year. Her firing comes just 1 month after her nomination was confirmed.
Almost immediately after that announcement, 4 other top CDC officials resigned in protest over how the agency is currently being run. Joining us now, NBC News White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor, and also with us, NBC News health and medical reporter Berkeley Lovelace Jr. Yamiche, we'll start with you. What do we know about just what happened here? Why was she fired so soon after being confirmed?
Well, this really comes down to a deep disagreement between the former CDC director and President Trump, as well as the Health Secretary, Robert Kennedy Jr. Take a listen to how he explained this.
There's a lot of trouble at CDC, and it's going to require getting rid of some people over the long term in order for us to change the institutional culture and bring back pride and self-esteem and make that agency the stellar agency that it's always been.
Now, he came into that job with some fearing that he would be embracing conspiracy theories and not embracing science. And essentially, that is what the lawyers for now, the former CDC director, is saying. I want to read to a statement by Susan Mineapolise's lawyers. They say, when CDC Director Susan Mineapolise refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fired dedicated health experts, she chose protecting the public over serving a political agenda. For that, she has been targeted, but I have to tell you, the White House is now backing down here. Here's what the White House is saying. She is not in line with the president's agenda of making America healthy again. Since she refused to resign, the White House has terminated Mineapolise from her position. So this might become a battle, but overall, the White House is saying they think that this is a done deal, really.
And Yamiche, I understand that there's been some strong reaction from lawmakers as well to the firing.
It's really interesting. We've seen strong reaction from Republicans and Democrats negatively here. So Bill Cassidy, who is chairs the Senate committee that oversees the health department, he is now saying that he wants the health department to essentially postpone a meeting that it was going to have on immunizations, because since any recommendations that come out of that meeting could be seen as illegitimate because of all this back and forth and criticism. We've also heard from Senator Bernie Sanders, who's a Democrat who also sits on that committee. He is calling for a public hearing and an investigation into this firing. Kate Ziegler.
Thanks.